And we are live.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Full Metal 5 and Expecto to Robitussin because this is the Full Metal 5 in honor of Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts, Where to Find Them, Crimes of Grindelwald, whatever that sequel is. We have an excuse to talk about the best performances in the Wizarding World franchise. So Wizarding World, you can't take Fantastic Beasts, but I highly doubt anybody on this panel is going to do it. And speaking of this panel, I have a fantastic panel to discuss with me today. First of which he is the sidekick, and he is one half of Fireside Chit Chat. It is Zach Ford. Zach, what's up?
Yeah, I feel woefully underprepared now because I was under the assumption that the topic was top five Alan Rickman word pronunciations. Now I have to throw my list out the table.
394. Number one, 394. Next to him, someone who I know how much he loves the show, and I'm so happy to have him back. It is Cody Newberry. Cody, what's up, buddy?
I'm fantastic. I'm excited to be on here. I thought I was banned from the show for a while because I've not got an invite, but I'm back.
Well, we always do it the same day you do late nights or watch-alongs.
That's true. So I'm pretty much here to tell everybody where they're wrong, and yeah, so this should be interesting.
Okay. The theory about this being the shortest episode could be possibly wrong. Next to him, the other half of Fireside Chit Chat and the other half of the podcast with that cool acronym, it is Robert Parker. Robert, what's up, buddy?
Not much. I also thought I was banned for this show because I haven't been here in months. But part of that is because topics, I only volunteer when I'm super passionate about the topic, and this is one of those times. So I'm really excited to be here.
Happy to have you. And finally, rounding out the panel, he is everyone's favorite masshole, and everyone's favorite masshole who is also a Harry Potter fan. It is Lucas Schildbach. Lucas, how you doing?
I'm going to be honest. I wrote at least 10 people on a list for best Game of Thrones character. Realized that wasn't the topic. I had to throw my list out.
You ready to hold the show to a grinding halt once again, Lucas?
I'm going to try.
Okay, please don't. But anyways, the way the show works is we create a top 5 list right here live for you. We do it in 3 different selection processes. First one is the nominations period. We're just going to go around and nominate a performance from the Harry Potter franchise or Wizarding World. I'm not going to discriminate. And now we're keeping in as performance for the entire franchise, not just one performance for a single movie, because that could get really, really confusing really fast. So we just go around, nominate a performance, an actor, and we'll keep going until we get a top 7, or for a performance to make the top 7 has to get 3/5 majority vote. So I'm going to start this off, and I'm going with the one that I'm just going to say it because I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's the one, whenever you discuss the best performances in the Wizarding World, this guy always comes up. He was one of the highlights of the franchise from beginning to end, first end, not really second end. And that is Alan Rickman as Severus Snape. Alan Rickman, every time he popped up into a movie, he was on it. He was fantastic. He owned the screen. He owned that slithery persona, and especially when in later movies where he got into a deeper character, and even especially the last one in particular, where he got really sympathetic and really understood his backstory, and he had the most he was the emotional crux of that film. He had the most heartbreaking arc in that movie, and you can really understand why Harry as a character would take such admiration to this guy. I think he was phenomenal. He was a phenomenal talent, and this franchise was a giant showcase of that. So I think Alan Rickman should definitely make top 7. I'm going to go to Lucas to say no first. Lucas.
Come on, guys. Come on. Always vote yes. It's so easy. You write the performances down, you try to make this list, and there are a couple that are just super easy. And Rickman is at the top of that list. He's fucking great every single movie he's in, and he's the only guy that really keeps the franchise on a high. He's one of the few guys who has his best moment in the final moments on screen. The Prince's Tale from Deathly Hallows is fantastic. He's amazing. Yes, every day of the week, twice on Sundays.
All right, that's one yes. Let's go to Cody next. Cody.
You all are effing crazy. I don't think this performance does any. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, you're about to walk out the show.
Make the show more interesting.
I wanted to controversy, but no. Snape's my favorite character in the entire series. He's my favorite character in the books. Overall, he just has the best arc. And they don't even show him as much as they could have even in the movies, but the moments that he does stand out are so fantastic. So, yeah, Snape's the clear choice.
All right, so Alan Rickman is the first person to make the top 7. Fireside Chit Chat, you guys did not get your votes in. So, Robert, what would you have said about Alan Rickman?
Absolutely, of course. This is hands down the. If this wasn't the first pick, there's something wrong with us as a show.
All right, fair enough. And Zach, what would you have said about Alan Rickman?
I do want to say that Alan Rickman added a level of sexiness to Snape that was not in the books. He made that something to look for, and also to say kind of made people like reevaluate Alan Rickman's career in a way, and fully recognize him as one of the best actors. I feel like he was underappreciated, and up until that time. And I had something else to say, but it was 5 minutes ago. Now I forgot. Thanks for talking too much, assholes.
Now you know how we feel. But Zach, you get to go next. So your first performance.
So I'm gonna go with another obvious one. Oh yeah, so this one and the one in Alan Rickman, I feel like are both vulnerable to the traditional Full Metal 5 of us trying not to say the obvious ones, hoping someone else will say it and take advantage of our choices.
Does it happen?
So I'm gonna rip off the other Band-Aid, and I'm gonna go with Maggie Smith as McGonagall, another one of my favorite characters. Probably doesn't have as much of a as depth as the other characters do, but she brings everything that we love about the character in the book to fruition. And her performance of it, whether it be the sternness with this like weird mixture of warmth as well, and some also great line reads. No one reads any of these J.K. Rowling lines better than Alan Rickman and Maggie Smith does. All
right, so Maggie Smith is on the table. I'm going to go first. Gotta disagree with you there, Ford. I think she does have a surprising amount of levels. Just especially when we go to from the super strict uppity British teacher to the part where she's consoling Harry, she's concerned for him. I mean, she gives him probably the most important tool in his arsenal. And Maggie Smith is, especially on a rewatch of the franchise, you really appreciate just how much she's giving into this role. Even though it's not a giant enormous part, but what she has, she sells it 1,001%. She's fantastic, and I think she absolutely makes the list. And I'm going to go to Robert.
Yeah, this is... yes, I'm going to say yes. I agree with you. This is a character that has a lot of levels. This is a character that gets more entertaining as time goes on, even though you see less of her as time goes on. I mean, just the scene in Deathly Hallows Part 2 where she's like, you want us to blow it up? Boom! I've always wanted to use that spell. She's got great scenes in all of the movies. 10 points for sheer dumb luck in Sorcerer's Stone, all the way to that scene, Deathly Hallows Part 2. This is a consistently entertaining character to watch. A consistently great performance. So yeah, I'm going to go Maggie Smith is definitely on there for me.
All right, so we're off to a good start. We already got 2 on the list. Cody and Lucas, you didn't get votes. So Cody, what would you have said?
Well, when he said the clear ripping the Band-Aid, I wouldn't consider Maggie Smith the next obvious choice of the list. Do I agree she makes the list? Absolutely, but I think there's 2 others that are more no-brainers.
I didn't think it was going Maggie Smith either, but I do think she deserves to be on.
But I agree. Maggie Smith, it's probably one of the characters from the books to the movies that I get the most frustrated with because she could have had so many more parts. She's awesome for me. But that's just my opinion. So yeah, it would have been yes.
All right, and Lucas, what would you have said?
I would have said yes as well. She's part 2 of my big 4. And you have to also give her extra credit because she had cancer while shooting a couple of these movies, which is just the fact that you can continue to do these performances and just kill it while going through that much personal trauma is just fucking amazing. She's the boss. Big ups Maggie Smith.
Maggie Smith is a boss. Biggest takeaway from this episode. So Lucas, you get to give your third of your top 4. So
all right.
You're next.
So I have. Now I got to pick between 3 or 4. I'm going to pick the one I think is less likely to get picked by somebody else and go with a performer that appears in the 3rd movie, really cements himself in the 5th movie, and then exits far too soon It's only 2 movies. It's not that much screen time, but I think he kills it every second he's on screen. I would go as Gary Oldman as Sirius Black. I think he just completely kills it as this complete madman that you're actively scared of in Prisoner of Azkaban, to this like perfect father figure in Order of the Phoenix. I think he has some of the best moments with Harry in the entire series. That when he gives him the old photo of the original Order of the Phoenix, I think he kills it. When he tells him the story about how we all have a bit of light and dark inside when he's looking at the Black family tree, I think he's just utterly fantastic. He leaves far too soon. Yes, the way he dies is really stupid and annoying, and I wish they'd done that better. But I think the time he spends on screen is fantastic. Gary Oldman as Sirius Black.
All right, I would not define that as one of the big 4, but that's just me. I'm gonna go to Ford first.
Yeah, so the fluidity of the show is about to get disrupted a little bit because it's the first no. I'm a no. And I've always had some kind of disconnect to Sirius Black in general as a character. I always felt the attachment was a little, the fatherly attachment was always a little forced to me. Me and Robert talked about this on the show. The true father figure is Remus Lupin, and Harry was just blind in front of his eyes. You need to see the father figure you have. But yeah, of the performances in Prisoner of Azkaban, he alone is my 3rd favorite of the debut actors in that one. And I just feel like he didn't add anything that was unexpected to me. And maybe there's some bias that he didn't fully like match what I saw when I read the books as well. He didn't project like coolness that I always thought Sirius Black kind of carried with him. So I'm
okay. All right, Cody.
Hello. Okay, my wife's just saying something. Okay.
Bless you.
This is where also we do not agree. I like him better when he's a person, less when he's a fireplace. And that's the majority we get to see him, and that's what the weakness. I've always said this about the 5th movie, especially. They did not earn that death with Sirius and the emotional connection to it, because in the books you find out way more about Sirius than you actually get to do about him just yelling and being crazy at times, and how mad he gets. So I have to give no to Sirius just because of the lack of screen time and the not earning the death.
Yeah, hey, he did his waiting. 12 years.
12 years of it.
I've been waiting.
Bad.
12 years.
And I'm gonna go to me next, and yeah, I gotta seal the deal on Gary Oldman. It's a no for me, just because. What these guys say. I mean, Gary Oldman, he is good for what he gets, but like he gets a serious lack of screen time, and plus, like, and yeah, like, I personally what Cody said. Like when I saw Order of the Phoenix for the first time, I was just like, yeah, Sirius Black just died, and I don't give a shit. So.
Well, you're a heartless
that's
bastard.
how I feel about much of the Order of the Phoenix. So
not that it's not like said, because like I mean I saw because of Harry's reaction to it, but like not because I really care all that much about Sirius. That's not slight against Gary Oldman. He was really good. The thing is, like, his character just doesn't get all that much, and he's only get a big part in 3 movies, and he's been the fireplace. He's a fireplace for one of them. So, it's
probably the best fireplace performance anyone has ever given.
He gives a better fireplace performance in Goblet of Fire than he does as a fireplace in Order of the Phoenix, for sure.
Well, because they changed the fireplace. They changed the fireplace back. There's no consistency with those. But Gary Oldman gets our first no. Sorry, buddy. Robert, what would you have said about Gary Oldman?
I also would have said no. I love Gary Oldman. I love Sirius Black as a character, but I think there are a slew of other performances that I think are more standout, more better than his. Obviously, he's an integral part of the story, but I don't think the performance is anything really exemplary, which there are many of those in the Wizard of the World franchise.
Well, Robert, you get to give one of those exemplary performances right now.
I will. I think we need to start bringing up a villain or two. And the one I'm going to start with is Imelda Staunton as Dolores Umbridge. This is a character that is not outwardly evil. Like, when you think of the Harry Potter villains, you think of Voldemort, you think of the Death Eaters, you think of you think of these characters that just exemplify darkness and total evilness. But I really think that Imelda Staunton's performance as Umbridge, mostly in Order of the Phoenix, but then again in Deathly Hallows Part 1, just the menace that this like lady brings is incredible. It is daunting. It is overwhelming to Harry and to his entire journey. Like, he doesn't want to even talk to Dumbledore because he's so like fearful and overwhelmed by Umbridge. There is nobody who I've never met somebody, at least, who hates Voldemort as a villain more than they hate Umbridge as a villain. I've never met somebody whose most hated character in this franchise isn't Umbridge, and I think that's a credit to the performance.
All right, so Imelda Staunton, am I saying that right?
Imelda Staunton.
Staunton. Okay.
Yeah.
Imelda Staunton as Dolores Umbridge is up for top 7. I'm gonna go to Lucas first this time.
So, I was hoping this wouldn't happen, but this is just that famous Fullmetal 5 thing where some character gets thrown out a little bit too early. So this is one of these scenarios where she's probably top 15, but she's not close enough to top 5 right now for me to vote yes. I think she's great, but it's one movie, and for me, that's just not high enough. I agree with basically everything Robert said, except the end result is just slightly different. So I think I'll vote no for now.
All right, so that's 1 no for
now.
Yeah. Gonna go to Zach next.
So she's just at the bottom of my top 10. So I'm going to give it a yes because I'm on the opposite way. It's this early. I'm still willing to give some of my further down ones, and because she is my highest debatable villain, and she's not debatable. I'm just future spoilers. But she would be my highest villain. So I feel like we should have some representative of that darker side of the universe. And I think it is. She captures perfectly the like fake niceness that Rowling puts into that character. That kind of the worst grandma possible, or actually an aunt. She's just like a horrible fucking aunt, the one that you never want to have babysit for you, and she captures that great. It is terrifying at the same, and terrifying of this small little British woman. Takes a lot of a certain kind of charisma to make happen. So yes.
All right, I'm gonna go to me next.
Fucking name is Imelda Staunton.
She has a great name. Going to me. Imelda Staunton is great. In fact, she's probably the only Harry Potter actress who I would physically assault if I saw her walking down the street.
Wow!
Because I dislike this Dolores Umbridge so much.
You'd have beat up a 5'2" tall woman.
She probably still beat me up, but. See, here's the thing. Like, when she's on, she's great. You actively hate her. She does a fantastic job of that. I think there might be some slightly better villains that do that better than her. So
you can nominate them later and say yes to this one now.
I'm gonna slightly edge towards no. So Cody, is up to you.
To quote my 6-year-old niece, when she saw this movie for the first time, she leaned over to her mother and said, "That woman's a bitch."
Talking about her mom, right?
100% true. 100% true. I laughed out so loud in the theater that took the entire scene away. It's when he's riding and it's him depending on his arm. I will argue that there is a better villain out there in this series than that. So there may be one, but we'll see if that comes up. But this is a hell yes. This woman makes me despise her in one movie. And when she, that shows how strong a performance is. That you literally, the whole time she shows up, makes me that anxiety. Oh my gosh, if I could just kill her. Okay, yeah.
Avada Kedavra. I'm not okay. Imelda Staunton's on top 7. I'm not upset that she made it. I'm okay that she made it. I just think that there are other spots, but whatever. Cody, you get the next nomination.
So we've thrown out some obvious ones. I'm just going to throw out a personal one that I find so much fun and so entertaining. It's probably going to get a no, but I'm okay for going around and making this episode last longer than a little 30 minutes.
Right.
Mine is David Bradley, and that's Finch.
Ooh.
Filch.
Filch.
Finch.
Sorry, that's my bad. He is by far one of my favorite characters. Also, he goes through so much like heartbreak, but then he adds comedic moments into this entire film. So, I mean, it's okay if he doesn't make it, but think about it. He's pretty fantastic.
All right. David Bradley?
Yeah.
Okay, David Bradley as Filch is up for top 7. I'm going to go to Robert first.
That's a really interesting pick. That's a really interesting pick. I definitely agree that there are definitely small moments for this character, like particularly in probably like the first, like 1, 2, and 4. There's moments for this character, a lot of moments. Like especially in Goblet of Fire, like when he accidentally sets off that cannon like a million times, like that's a funny moment for the character. When he's at the Yule Ball dancing with Mrs. Norris, that's a funny moment for the character.
The running.
Yeah. So there's a lot of moments for this character, but I don't think there's really enough there to showcase the performance throughout the series. So I'm gonna have to say no on this one. Although I love that you brought him up, and I love that that's just like an off-kilter pick. That's amazing.
All right, so that is 1 no for David Bradley. I'm gonna go to Lucas next.
So my favorite moment of him is his constant having to put up the decrees in Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
When he has to just stand on a giant ladder, and then his face when Fred and George throw the firecracker, and it takes the entire wall down on him, and he has to look at this moment of his countless hours of work just crashing to the ground. But I'm on board with Robert on this. When I wrote this list, I had like my top tier, my second tier, and then I had like a tier of characters that I love to death, but they just don't get enough screen time. Yeah. And that's where Filch is. Like, I love his moments, but I could never vote for him for this list because it's like 45 seconds a movie that's just great, but it's 45 seconds. I love that Cody brought it up. It's awesome, but like Robin, I'm also a no because he's just not enough size.
I'm okay with him missing, but I'm sorry. He literally kills me in these movies. He really does.
No, yeah,
right.
He's a great character, but
so
the screen time is less than 5 minutes over 8 movies.
You shut up, Robert. You're supposed to vote for me. You are my client. Remember this.
Oh yeah, I'm under contract to always vote for you on like shows.
Yeah.
All right, so that's 2 no's. Going to go to Zach next.
Yeah, you picked the wrong person of this duo. If you said Captain Sparkles, the cat who played Albert, I'd have been all about it. But, not a cat, so it doesn't make it.
All right, so that's it. David Bradley does not make it. So going to me, God, I love him so much in this movie. Like, you're right, he is great for like what little he gets, but yeah, no, there's some like major like powerhouse performances in this entire franchise. So we come back to me, and we left the adults. Let's look at the kids, and well, that can be taken really out of context.
Let's look at the kids. Chance Ellison, 2018.
Sorry, can you sit down? No. My next nomination is Alfred Enoch. You may not recognize that name. He is the guy that plays Dean Thomas. Now, I know he does not say much because he is a person of color, and that does not fly in the Wizarding world for some reason. But it's not what he doesn't say. It's how he doesn't say it. So I think Alfred Enoch deserves. I'm fucking with you. No, I'm not.
Oh my gosh!
I have a similar one in the bank.
Okay, my real nomination is there's 2 I'm going between. I think one's definitely going to get nominated, but so I'll go with my other one. I think a Dumbledore needs to be represented on this list, and I think
moment of truth.
I think it's got to be Michael Gambon. I think Michael Gambon is definitely the superior Dumbledore, and purely because, not that I didn't like Richard Harris. Richard Harris was great in those 2 movies he had. Here's the difference, though. Dumbledore as a character is the only wizard in the world that Voldemort is afraid of. You get that from Michael Gambon. You do not get that from Richard Harris. And like my whole impetus for this is, could they switch roles? Like, I think if you put Michael Gambon in those first 2 films, he would work. I can't see Richard Harris working in the later like 6. So that's my whole thing. No disrespect to Richard Harris, he was a phenomenal actor, but I think Michael Gambon was hands down the definitive Dumbledore. So I'm gonna go to Lucas first.
And I hands down disagree with you. I think Richard Harris is infinitely superior. He doesn't scream at small children or smash them into metal objects, or
Who do you smash into a metal object?
Smashes Harry into the cups in his office in the office in Goblet of Fire after
he was concerned.
No, he wasn't. He was acting like a
Throws
crazy
a
person. He was assaulting a child out of concern. No.
Chance Ellison supporting child abuse in 2018.
And spying on children. No, I mean, it's like, I don't hate him as much as a lot of fans do, but like, he is a okay to somewhat forgettable part of the later movies, which I don't think is 100% his fault. I think it's a lot more on the writing and the way that he's portrayed. But I think Harris is just so much better, and I can't vote for the inferior Dumbledore. So I'm gonna.
I'm gonna go to Cody.
As much as I love him, I'm agreeing with Lucas on this one. It's kind of
Really?
close. Yeah, I like Richard Harris a lot. I'm just upset that we lost him to it because I think he was a perfect Dumbledore. Even though I do love him yelling, "Did you put your name in? Did you put your name in?"
I absolutely are.
No, wait. This is tough, actually.
Yeah, 5, 4.
You shut your mouth, Zach. We don't time you ever on this show.
Repeat the question.
Repeat the
I don't have pauses. I just talk nonsense.
challenge.
Michael Gambon is
I'm
Dumbledore.
actually, I don't think Richard Harris might make it on the verse, and I think Dumbledore. I think he does a fine job as Dumbledore, especially the connection between Harry. So I will give it a yes.
All right, so that's 1 yes, 1 no. I'm gonna go to Roberts.
Yes. I love Harris, but I agree wholeheartedly with Chance. I don't think Harris would have worked in the later, more dark, more mature movies. And I do think Gambon would have worked earlier on. I love Richard Harris's performance. He is much more accurate to the books than Gambon's is, but as pure performance and as emotional weight to the story, Gambon does a better job. So yeah, absolutely.
All right, so that settles it. Michael Gambon gets the 4th spot on our top 7. Zach, what would you have said about Michael Gambon?
Gambon's my preferred Dumbledore as well, but I still think he comes on a little strong. He is a little intense for what Dumbledore has and lacks the kind of warmth mentorship that is exemplified by Cody's. Did you put your name in? It's just like a, hey,
Silence!
put your name in? Yeah, I should have been Dumbledore. Hey, here, put your name in the cup.
Do it like that, man. What about you, like Marky Mark? Like Mark Wahlberg is happening? Hey, put your name in the cup? What's going on? Why are you doing the guy with the fire?
So I would have been a no, but I'm fine with it being on.
All right, so Zach, what's something else we're fine with being on because it's your nomination?
Good. So I'm picking Weiss as the best debatable villain, and maybe the only person to technically play 2 parts, if you want to count 2 parts. But I'm going to go with Brendan Gleeson, who played Mad-Eye Moody and Mad-Eye Moody / Barty Crouch. Spoilers, by the way, for Goblet of Fire.
Spoilers.
So the way that he really is to just kind of slightly, downplay Mad-Eye Moody a little bit in the later ones, but he's actually that character, but still kind of has similar mannerisms. It's just that slight change that he does when he's under Barty Crouch as the when it's using a Polyjuice potion is remarkable. It's a little more twitchy, and you can see the David Tennantness kind of coming out by how he moves, and he's just great at making you kind of unsure. Even when I read the book already, I'm like still unsure what's going on with Mad-Eye Moody because the performance is, I think, that complex and subtle in its way, and it really put Brendan Gleeson, I think, as one of my favorite actors working today. And he's the better Gleeson in the Harry Potter movies. Donald Gleeson, shove it.
Wow, so many quotes this episode. Donald Gleeson, shove it. Zach Ford. So Brendan Gleeson is up for top 7. I'm gonna go first. He was on my top 10 for sure. I really love Brendan Gleeson as an actor. He is fantastic. It sucks that they didn't do the accurate portrayal of Polyjuice because I would have loved to have seen him act with David Tennant's voice coming out of his mouth. But we didn't get that. So either way, he was fantastic, and yeah, the only person to get to have to play multiple different characters within the series. So yeah, I think Brendan Gleeson gets on this list easy.
Warwick Davis, but like,
Warwick
yeah.
Davis.
Well, Warwick Davis, but he's
actually two characters.
He's actually like 12.
He's not pulling a face off.
Is this your next pick? Is it Warwick Davis? That sounds like a Cody pick.
Warwick Davis. So
Cedric Diggory is coming. Get ready.
Robert, what do you say about Brendan Gleeson?
Yes. I was actually, I'm really sad because there's two characters I still want to get on, and I know that both of them are not going to get on when I say yes to this, but I just have to go by my list, and I love the way you feel so uneasy every time Gleeson is on screen, especially in Goblet of Fire. Just the marvelous creatures, dragons, aren't they? Like, at the end when he's trying to, like, get the information out of Harry, when he's, like, slowly turning back into David Tennant, that part is fantastic. His first scene as Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher is amazing. When he curses out the ceiling for raining on him, that's great. Like, there are so many definitive moments of portrayal, like, of the performance of Gleeson. So I'm gonna say yeah, absolutely. I wish there was more of him in the later movies.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just like dying off screen. Can you imagine him getting cast the Killing Curse? Like, how crazy would that death have been to see? But Brendan Gleeson, it gets the fifth spot in the top 7. Lucas, Cody, your votes didn't count. Cody, what would you have said?
Oh, absolutely. This is one of my favorite characters. It's probably one of my most quotable characters. It's not a student; it's a ferret.
Oh, man, it's a ferret.
Technically, it's a ferret. It's not a student. Technically, it's a ferret.
He might have mentioned that.
He's just when I've always wanted to be that teacher where you're writing on the board and the student is like doing something and he throws the eraser at him.
Famous, yeah.
I can hear across classrooms.
So, as much as I love, it takes Barney Crouch to make him who he was. It's fantastic with the character. I agree that I wish it's one of those characters that the one movie makes his mark, but he is literally a huge standout in that movie. So I have to say yes to him.
All right. And Lucas, what would you have said about Brendan Gleeson?
I'm actually kind of glad I didn't have to make a vote on this because he's like, there was like 3 spots left, and he's like my 5, which puts me in like the awful position of having to make a choice if I put him over somebody I'd like more. He's obviously fantastic, and I'm very glad I didn't have to do it. I probably would have voted yes in the end, but I'm glad I didn't have to.
All right. Well, I believe you said you have the big 4, so I believe
I
you
do
get
have the big
nominated
4.
the last one of your big 4. So go ahead.
I mean, this is like the most obvious member outside of like Snape and McGonagall. Probably maybe the most ever. We have to talk about Lord Voldemort. We have to talk about Ralph Fiennes. You could arguably nominate him just for the scene in the graveyard because that's like the best part of a very mediocre movie. But best part in terms of greatness. I think he's just fantastic. I think he kills it every second on screen. I remember seeing him on a chat show, and he told the story about how he wasn't sure if the makeup was going to work, and he was walking to set, and like the script supervisor had her kid there, and he scared the kid into tears, and he knew that was the moment that this was going to work. Cody has decided to die on me. Maybe he'll get voted down, but I had to bring up Voldemort. I think Fiennes is fantastic. I think just vocally, I think the fact that he can play a character that effectively behind that much makeup and prosthetics is just really impressive. I think he's scary every second on screen. And Ralph Fiennes as Lord Voldemort.
All right. So Ralph. Comments on Goblet of Fire's side. Ralph Fiennes is up for top 7.
Ralph, Jesus Christ.
Fiennes.
Ralph Fiennes. No, I'm just kidding. I know how to pronounce it. Ralph Fiennes is up for top 7. I'm gonna go to Zach first.
So I call him Mr. Fiennes. Mr. Fiennes. I think with him, I think the makeup is doing a lot of credit here, because that's where I think a lot of the intimidation comes from, and because there's some part of me I feel like his performance is a little pathetic at times, and I think that is kind of part of the Voldemort character in a way. But the main problem I have with it, and I like it, the main part, and I kind of have this in the book as well, is that you never feel the cult leader charisma that I feel like he needs to gain this following with the Death Eaters, and he doesn't portray that at all. I never fully understand why like he can build such a following other than his like they're scared he's going to murder their families, which I guess is enough of a reason. If someone came, hey, I'm going to murder your family, or you can join my bike gang, I'm joining that bike gang.
All right, I'm gonna go to me next. So is that good to know?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna go to me next. I like when I was saying who I was gonna nominate the last one. Ray Fiennes, the other person I was thinking of. Like, talk about a guy who just pops up and just owns the scene, just owns whatever movie he's in. Like every time he's on screen, he is literally like salivating every single second screen time he has. I think he was fantastic. It reminds me a lot of I can't say what, but like he has personality. He's lively enough to the point where he can act around the makeup. Like it's not really like he's not really restraining. He's like acting. He acts through it, and yeah, it comes through every time. He's one of my favorite cinematic bad guys. I thought he was fantastic, and yeah, I think he definitely makes top 7. I see Cody rubbing his head. So
I think Cody's crying.
Oh my gosh, you guys are ass freaking backwards with this character. He is not intimidating most of the movies. He plays like this creepy character that pops up and touches Harry's
If I saw a bald guy with no nose, I'd be scared.
Like, you're just rude. Some people lose their nose. It's not something to be afraid of. Okay.
What about the red eyes?
I think he overacts way too much in this movie. He's not that scary thing. He doesn't translate very well from the book to this. Because in the book, he's actually scary. And this, are like, cool, there's going to be some action because Harry's got to battle him off. So that's cool. But, like, his side minions are better than him, to me. I've never found Voldemort intimidating at all.
Would you have liked the movie better if he actually had minions as his sidekicks?
Absolutely. If they popped out of the fire with him, like, done. I don't find him like the scary baddie. Like, I think Bellatrix is scarier than Voldemort. His snake is scarier. So I have to give it a no vote. I do not like Ray Fiennes as this character at all.
Wow.
All right. And Robert, your deciding vote.
This is tough. You sure don't want to go Richard Bremer from Sorcerer's Stone as a Voldemort? But
yes.
The 30 seconds.
I will ask you to leave, Robert.
Yeah.
I will ask you to leave.
As for Ray Fiennes, I err on the side of I also think he overacts a little bit. I think he acts a little bit like he's trying to be a snake. Like you mentioned the graveyard scene. I actually think that's one of his worst performances in the franchise. Because he goes, I'm back!
This is Robert Parker as Michael Keaton as Voldemort.
Oh no, like he's overacting in the way Tim Curry overacts. You don't know if it's good, but fuck, is it awesome to watch?
It's not awesome to watch though. Like
yes, it is.
The part where he's like, "Oh, we're gonna bow to each other now. We're gonna bow and I'm gonna kill
Bow?
you." Like, it's just a little bit much. It's not as subtle as I would have liked that performance. Plus, there's 2 other good guys that I really want to get on at least one of them. So for those reasons, although Voldemort, obviously, I disagree when people say he's not like an intimidating villain, like a bad guy. Like, of course he is, especially in the later movies, like Half-Blood Prince On. He is so intimidating. He's so menacing. But I just think the performance is not menacing in itself. I think the character is.
I think he just needs a better wardrobe. That black robe, not doing enough. You need like a nice sparkly jeweled up, like an Elton John kind of costume coming in.
He has to leave.
All right. Well, either way, funny. I wrote Ray Fiennes down as soon as Lucas said, 'cause I thought he was going to make it, but I just crossed it out. So he does not make the list.
I'm also voting against whatever Robert brings up now.
All right. Well, Robert, go ahead.
All right. So I literally just like flipped a coin in my head, and I'm going to go between the 2 I really want left. I'm going to go with Jim Broadbent as Slughorn. And the main selling point that I'm going to say for this performance is his speech while he's in Hagrid's hut in Half-Blood Prince, where he talks about Harry's mom, Lily. where he talks about how like he had the lily pad that turned into a fish, and he's talking to Harry after Harry had drank the Felix Felicis, and he's like, that's life, I suppose. You go along, and then suddenly poof, and then he's just in tears talking about like, don't think so. Voldemort was so crazy even back then. Don't think badly of me, please. Like, this is for your mother. I'm giving you these memories so you can fight him. It's for your mother. Like, that scene is so emotional and so like. That scene is so memorable. That's the most memorable scene of that movie. That scene is one of the things that makes Half-Blood Prince my favorite movie. I think that performance is layered. That performance, even in the flashback scenes where you see a younger Slughorn, is layered. When you see him with his Slug Club now, there's just so much behind that character that there's no exposition for that character's backstory, but you still feel all of his past in the performance. You feel how hard he is on himself. He blames himself for Voldemort's rise of power, and you see that. So there's the desperation in that one speech that he gives, I think, is just brilliant. So Jim Broadbent as Slughorn, I think, really deserves to be on this list.
All right, Jim Broadbent. Now I thought you were going. Jim Broadbent as Slughorn is on the table. I'm going to go to Lucas first for his no.
Thanks for making this easy for me. I wrote a list of 29 people down. I didn't even consider Jim Broadbent. You guys shit on all my characters. I'm going to be honest for a second. I think this guy is completely forgettable in that movie. I think he's so forgettable. And I remember watching this and I was like, that's you cast as Broadbent? He's like 200 pounds too light. I just thought I was completely out on the character from like second one. I don't, everything Robert says, including like him liking the sixth movie the best, I completely disagree with. This is an incredibly easy no for me.
Let the record know, Full Metal Meat does not condone body shaming.
No, I wanted him to be bigger. That's not body shaming.
He needs to be fatter.
That's still body shaming. That's definitely
still body shaming.
You couldn't eat some double quarter pounders right now. You not fat, boys. Hey, fill up. Broadbent, what the hell?
Put some meat on the bones.
What the hell?
I'm gonna go to Zach.
I think so. Slughorn's one of my favorite written characters, but somewhere in Jim Broadbent's performance, the competency kind of got lost. He started to seem like he didn't seem like this intelligent man. Like he had his flaws in the character, and I have something that I've been analyzing about him because he's also like this in Paddington 2. He has dead empty eyes. Like I'm not fully sure he's not like halfway through like developing Alzheimer's and he's not fully aware that he's like on stage at the moment because he just looks so confused all the time. So I just hope he's reading off cue cards to remind him you are acting right now, not back in World War II. So I'm a no.
Jeez, what's with the drive-by to Jim Broadbent? What did he do to you? You take your sandwich? Did you steal your girlfriend?
Look at his eyes and his like gaping mouth. This is Jim Broadbent face.
Okay, well I'm gonna go to me next, and no, I'm not gonna be as hard on Jim Broadbent as these last two guys. I thought Jim Broadbent was really good. In fact, when I read Half-Blood Prince, Jim Broadbent was the person I imagined playing that role. I don't care that he was 200 pounds too light. That's him. He can't cast the 400-pound man in this role. That being said, he's fantastic in that one movie. I don't, even just like from the one movie character, I don't think he leaves that big an impression. There's some other like one-off movie characters I think leave a way bigger impression than Jim Broadbent. So I'm going to lean towards no on this one. And that's seal that Jim Broadbent does not make top 7. Cody, what would you have said?
Everybody's dicks on this panel. I would have voted yes. I love the sixth one as well. I don't care what everybody says. Like I enjoy the sixth a lot. It is my favorite. But it's all right. Everybody hates it, so I hate.
Oh no, I like Half-Blood Prince. It's my number.
Quote this. Lucas would have liked him if he was fatter. All right. Cool.
I just think Lucas is sending hate mail to Jim Broadbent saying, gain some weight.
If Christian Bale
Alzheimer's, that's way worse.
He's in there with a megaphone. He's in the theater with a megaphone. Too skinny.
Everybody meets him and Lucas goes, you should have been fatter in Harry Potter, but you're a pretty good actor, I guess.
You're okay, I guess. But all right, Cody, you're next.
All right. So, for a man that played a sparkly vampire, did so well with. I'm just kidding.
I'm like you better. I'm like you fucking better not.
Listen, he was a Hufflepuff and he died for the cause. So just deal with it. Be nice.
That's the only time Hufflepuff did anything.
Hey, Susan Bones got sorted into Hufflepuff at the start.
I'm putting up one of my favorite actors.
Susan Bones, dirtiest name in the book.
One of my favorite actors.
Susan Bones.
This dude plays a slimy, despicable human being. I'm going with Jason Isaacs as Lucius Malfoy. I think that character is one of those characters you absolutely despise throughout the entire thing, especially Chamber of Secret. Which he should have just killed Dobby then, but he didn't.
I almost said Toby Jones's Dobby.
Oh God, I wish he killed Dobby then.
I had more of an attachment in the book to Dobby than in the movies because you read a character and like okay, and then you hear it on screen, you're like, God, somebody just throw him out a window.
I always prefer Dobby as the Jar Jar Binks of Star Wars.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the Jar Jar Binks of Harry Potter.
That's ridiculous.
You all are wrong. Dobby is my favorite character.
That's completely
really,
false, and you know that.
Yes. No,
that's a lie.
Rob.
R.I.P. Dobby.
All right, I'm needing a new client moving forward. I can't support this anymore. No, it's okay. If that's your character, I won't fault you for it, but it's not mine. But Jason Isaacs.
Not mine either.
Again, that's up for.
All right, so Jason Isaacs gonna go to Roberts first.
Yeah. This was the other villain that I wanted on besides Imelda Staunton. This is a character that starts out as like the slimiest, wormiest villain ever in Chamber of Secrets, an incredible performance. Then, of course, you skip ahead a couple years. Elektra comes up and just kills him at the start of her movie, which is pretty awesome. Actually, a real thing that happens in Elektra. No, he's great at the start of Goblet of Fire. At the Quidditch World Cup, I think he really personifies just like that rich, pompous asshole who also has an incredibly well manifested dark side. And then I also really like how we see his character kind of like understand that the shit he's doing is wrong. Like in Deathly Hallows Part 2, he runs away with his family. Like this is a character who lost everything. And we see him recognize the error of his ways. We see him leave Voldemort. Like, I think that is as much of a redemption story as we can get for this character, but it's really important for this character as well. So I'm absolutely going to say yes.
Was that really redemption, or was it him going like, yeah, we stay here, we're probably going to die. Let's go this way.
I mean, it's self-serving redemption, but it's redemption nonetheless.
I guess. All right. You decided not to stay and kill kids. Pat on the head. Going to Zach next.
So in the Chamber of Secrets, Jason Isaacs, probably not even the character, Jason Isaacs full on tries to kill a kid in the middle of the hall over a fucking sock. He's like, this sock is worth me doing the killing curse, even though I'm trying to separate myself from being a Death Eater, but I just fall into a killing curse in a fucking hospital. Or a wing, they're near the hospital. Anyways, the main reason
they're right outside of Dumbledore's office.
Right outside Dumbledore's office. That's where he is. He's just gonna kill her, Chris. He gets away with that. Also, post Deathly Hallows, how is the Malfoys not in Azkaban? I have lots of thoughts about the Malfoys. They get too much. They get too much leeway. Too much leeway.
Zach Ford, you just call it Azkaban.
Azkaban.
Azkaban. All right.
Down here.
Azkaban. Make them fat.
This has been goes on for more than an hour. So the main reason to know is he looks damn ass ugly in that hair. It does not work on you, Jason Isaacs. I'm a no.
Okay. We also do not condone hair or wig shaving. So shame on you, Zach.
That was a choice. Hair's a choice. You're like,
no, it's
going
not.
Going with Lucas next.
Yeah, I think I'd just be a no because I don't. I disagree with Robert that you see redemption in the later movies. I think you just kind of see him be a pussy and walk away because he realizes he's gonna lose.
That's how you interpreted it.
That's what Malfoy means in Latin, is pussy. So.
If he was fatter, If he was fatter, I would have believed it was redemption. Cartoon's too long the hair. Get him out of
I'm
here.
never gonna lose it.
Okay, so that's a no from
It's
Lucas.
also
If they
just-
cast
not
Chris
inverted.
Farley as him,
We don't get to see the redemption if it exists because he's in like 30 seconds of it. So
My Fantastic
Okay.
Beasts hasn't wrapped. We can see something.
I'm going with all right. I'm going next. So I'm excited about this time. Holy shit. Yeah. I don't agree that we see him get redemption. I don't like him because he gets redeemed. I like him because he is just like this like slimy, opportunistic, self-righteous SOB, and Jason Isaacs owns every fucking second of that. I've always liked him in these movies. I always thought he was great. This is the movies that really like introduced me to Jason Isaacs. I think he's a tremendously talented actor, and yeah, I'll give him the yes. Jason Isaacs makes top 7.
Hell yeah.
that is
And,
one of- if somebody out there was creating a betting pool to predict who would be on this list, he would have been like plus 3,500 odds to make
don't
this
worry, he's
list.
not making that 5.
All right,
Shake
well,
your head. Shut your mouth.
all right, well,
Gain some weight.
I'm going. Well, speaking of gaining weight, we're going to me. I'm going with an actor who he himself was not the appropriate weight, but he certainly looked like it. I'm going with Robbie Coltrane
Yes!
as Hagrid. Thank you, Robert. Take that as a yes. You look at a character who just like portrays just like just like that like warm, cuddly feeling, that feeling like I'm always here for you. I'm always gonna be there. He has this emotional attachment to Harry because, he was the one. He was always there, looking after him. He was always in charge of him, and yeah, I mean, you can really just see it in his entire performance that he really cared about Harry as well as all these kids. He's this really big, lovable oaf, and Robbie Coltrane is just fantastic in that performance. Fat suit and all. Luke, you better hold the fact against him that he did not accurately gain all that weight.
I have no weight problems with Robbie Coltrane. No weight
He
problems.
looks like he's gonna
Okay,
crawl
Oh,
out
you
of
need
his
to
skin.
pick and choose who you have weight problems
Hey,
with.
I see how it works. But yeah, Robbie Coltrane. Robert, I'm just gonna go you first because I'm pretty sure I know your vote.
Absolutely, this was the one that I was debating with Jim Broadbent with, and I decided to take the wider shot because I thought Jim Broadbent was a further shot than this one was. Yeah, absolutely, Matt and Harry. You wouldn't be talking about me now, would you? No. Hagrid is, I would argue, the most vital character in Harry's early years at Hogwarts. And I think Robbie Coltrane does it perfectly. Harry says it himself at the end of Chamber of Secrets. There's no Hogwarts without you, Hagrid. That emotional connection, and Hagrid is just such a linchpin in Harry's journey. And I think no other actor could have done it better than Robbie Coltrane. Every single moment he's on screen, you are captivated by this performance, captivated by this character. And I think that is all a testament to Robbie Coltrane's performance. So 100 times yes.
All right, I'm gonna go to Lucas next.
Oh God, this is so tough. This is a legit, really tough one. I'll
Is this
talk
to
it
close
out.
it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what makes it tough is I agree with what Robert says, but I feel like that only works for the first 3 movies. I feel like he's absolutely vital to the first 3, but I feel like he's kind of irrelevant to 4 onwards. Maybe a little bit of definitely a little bit of 4, but kind of 5, definitely 5 onwards.
The stuff with Grubb is so important to Harry and Hermione in 5.
Is it really? I feel like that's
Yeah,
almost
it is.
forgettable. I feel like it's forgettable because they don't play with it enough. If they'd done it if they'd done the visits to the forest multiple times like they do in the books, I think you would have. But they don't in the movies.
He's the reason Harry passes the first task.
You know what? I'm gonna be an asshole. I have 3 picks. I really want more. I'm gonna vote no, even though I really like Coltrane.
Well, I think we just heard the life philosophy of Boston. I'm gonna be an asshole.
Hey,
We win a lot. That's why we win.
All right, I'm gonna go to Cody next.
well, it's great that Lucas wants to be an asshole, but too bad it ends right here. Yes, he makes the list. That would be ridiculous if he didn't make the list. He's one of my favorite characters. He has so much heart. So many funny quips. He is the best, one of the best characters. So I have to put him on the list, and I want to see Lucas pissed. So, yep.
I'm not really that pissed. He's great.
All right. Well, that seals it. We have our top 7, guys. So, Zach, you didn't get about what would you have said?
One of my biggest sadnesses in life and regrets in my young life is that I'm never going to be able to get a hug from that Rubeus Hagrid. I want to snuggle up in those big arms so bad, feel the warmth like a little kitty cat. I'm sure he's so warm. I bet you Hagrid's so warm.
He probably is. Probably is.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little heartbreaking.
Creepy 2018.
He probably would have been. Call me up, Coltrane. Call me up.
Bring the suits.
Okay. So would be, yes.
All right on. All right, so we have our top 7. Before we get into the next round, we're going to go with some honorable mentions. For me, I got Emma Thompson, Miranda Richardson, and Goblet of Fire. I thought was really good. My favorite one-off character, Kenneth Branagh as Gilderoy Lockhart. I really love him in Chamber of Secrets. Tom Felton and Emma Watson, the only 2 kids I would consider putting on the list. I'm sorry, one more. Emma Lynch. I would consider putting Emma Lynch on the list. And Helena Bonham Carter, and David Thewlis. So, Zach, honorable mentions for you?
Yeah, I'm a little heartbroken. I have a thing for Julie Walters. She's my girl.
The MILF.
Yeah, and I mean,
Whoa.
Billy Elliot for life, guys. Billy Elliot for life.
For
But
life.
Julie, that would have been my next pick. The second person I would want to hug from after Hagrid is Molly Weasley. And it would have been nice to get one of the main 3 on there. I would have said Emma Watson for sure out of the main 3. I think she captured that character, from the start more than Grant and Radcliffe were able to. Ivana Lynch, also Luna. Call me up, Luna. Not Ivana Lynch, but Luna, call me up.
Oh, is it Ivana Lynch? My bad. I thought it was Emma Lynch.
Yeah, it's okay. We know you're dumb.
I am.
My out of nowhere one, not Dean Thomas, but Devon Murray, Seamus Finnegan. I'm a half and half. Ma'am's a witch. Dad's a muggle. Yeah, just for that one line reading alone, we just need the Irish accent to that first movie. Unfortunately, he should have cut off the snake. Should have been Seamus, not Neville.
Look, Ron's got a howler. Ron's got a howler.
That's Muggle. Ma'am's a witch.
She's a witch.
All right. I also would have nominated that one random black kid who showed up in
Prisoner of Azkaban, but
Prisoner of Azkaban, and they just never came back.
And Robert Pattinson's body double playing the corpse.
Oh yeah, that kid too. Lucas, got any honorable mentions?
Okay, so the big 3 that I really wanted to nominate but didn't get a chance to were Gilderoy Lockhart, Kenneth Branagh, which I fucking love that. Emma Thompson, Sybil Trelawney, and then Richard Griffiths, Vernon Dursley, who I fucking love from day one.
Good check. Good point.
If I was going to pick one of the
Lucas
kids...
doesn't love anything. He just fucking loves stuff.
Thank you. If I was going to pick one of the kids, it would have been Radcliffe because I think he's really good in the first 2. I'm going to throw out my just really bizarre honorable mentions because I don't, because everyone else will say the other ones. George Harris is Kingsley Shacklebolt. Robert Hardy is Cornelius Fudge.
Mm-hmm.
Shirley Henderson, Moaning Myrtle. John Cleese, Nearly Headless Nick. John Hurt, Ollivander, Miranda Richardson. And then I agree with Robert. I actually like Toby Jones as Dobby. So
yeah, I do too.
Me said Dobby.
That's not that. It's not racist. It's not a racist character. It's just he has a squeaky high voice, but he's not like a racist stereotype.
Guy that thinks someone's not fat enough. You have no point.
Robert, honorable mentions for you.
Honorable mentions for me. People brought him up. Of the main 3, I would have gone Daniel Radcliffe as well. Emma Watson was my crush, but I would have gone Radcliffe. Tom Felton actually was the kid actor that I wanted to bring up because I think seeing his character change so dramatically, I think he gives one of the best changing performances of many of the students throughout the series.
He was the one I would have put on the list if we had to put a kid on.
Yeah, if we were going to put one of the kid actors on the list, he was the one I was putting. Helena Bonham Carter, worth bringing up. Bellatrix is just such a creepy character, and she plays that perfectly. David Thewlis, because as Zachary and I talk about on Fireside Chit Chat, David Thewlis is Lupin is the real father figure to Harry, and Lupin, especially in some of his speeches in Prisoner of Azkaban and Order of the Phoenix, really, really, really good character. And then yeah, for my just like off the wall crazy picks that like wouldn't get on but are worth mentioning, definitely John Hurt as Ollivander, Colin Firth as Graves in Fantastic Beasts. He would never get on, but I think he's the only noteworthy Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find the performance.
Farrell.
Matt Fogler, maybe. But yeah, wait, what did I say? Sorry.
You said Colin Firth.
Oh, that's
Colin Farrell.
Tom Firth, the only act that should have been Harry Potter.
I watched Kingsman like 2 days ago. Colin Firth was on.
Okay.
It's all right. They're basically the same person.
Colin Farrell is what I meant. And then yeah, Toby Jones is Dobby, and maybe even the guy who voiced Aragog, who
Julian Glover.
Yeah.
Don't even.
Master Pycelle from
it never would have made it on, but again, worth bringing up.
Also, I will say, as the only person, I think the only person on the panel who's actually seen Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald, I actually would give an honorable mention to Jude Law and surprisingly Johnny Depp. I know that makes me a bad person, but they're both really good. I'm not gonna count on the movie, but they're both really good in it. And Cody.
I'm kind of pissed that I said yes to something earlier because I would have, if I knew so many people like Lockhart, I would have 100% put Lockhart on the list because he is.
You're all crazy.
Oh,
You're all
no.
crazy.
So good. So good.
He's my least favorite character in everything.
He's so awesome.
Dixie Pestimony.
He's just a single joke in the top set.
When he's in there and all the mixes around, mixes go over. He is by far one of my favorite people in that movie. He is why I go back to Chamber of Secrets more often than not. And I can't really say anybody else because everybody picked. The first dragon that Harry fights, I would have nominated because I thought that was really good.
The Hungarian Horntail?
Yeah, the Hungarian Horntail. That thing beat his ass, and it should have beat him some more. So. But he should have been fatter. Okay.
I'll gain weight.
I know. I don't like my dragon to the bones. Not scary enough.
Can we all just
gotta be bigger.
that Rupert Grint is the worst out of 3 kids?
Yes.
Okay.
Easily.
Yeah. I just hate Daniel Radcliffe.
How do you feel about Matthew?
as he ages? He's
How do you
not
feel about
terrible.
Matthew Lewis?
I think he's good as a kid.
I agree.
Good.
He's okay, like 1 through 3, but he gets real bad in like the last group.
That's why he's the one without a career.
How do you feel about Matthew Lewis?
Excuse me. He's doing the TV show of Snatch. Do not insult the TV show Snatch.
How do you feel about Matthew Lewis as a Neville?
Not bad. That
Alright,
again,
okay.
I was told I look like him way too much
Mark
growing
Williams,
up, so I could not do
R.L.
that.
Weasley, I like him, but he
he's
wouldn't
good.
have made this list.
All right. Regardless, we have our top 7 that did make the list. We have Alan Rickman as Severus Snape, Maggie Smith as McGonagall, Imelda Staunton as blanking on her name for some reason. Umbridge. Why did I blank so hard? Michael Gambon as Dumbledore, Brendan Gleeson as Mad-Eye Moody, Jason Isaacs as Lucius Malfoy, and Robbie Coltrane as Hagrid. Great list. Good job, guys. Good job.
I kind of forgot that we weren't done.
We're not. Oh yeah, we're definitely not done. We get to the sometimes easy, sometimes very problematic part of the show. We have to cut 2 of these to get to a top 5. The antithesis of round 1. What we're going to do is we're just going to go around and nominate a performance we do not want on the list, and we are going to say that we want them off. So, believe Lucas, you were the only one that didn't get one on the top 7, so you get to nominate the first one to kick off.
Oh, it's a pity vote.
I think this is pretty easy. It's Lucius Malfoy. You've already got Staunton. She's the better villain. He's the only real. He's like, I think he's probably got by far the least screen time of even the people on there. Even Staunton, who's in less movies but has bigger roles than Lucius Malfoy should go.
I don't think that's true. I do think Jason Isaacs has more screen time than Imelda Staunton.
I will Google this while you ask this question.
Oh no! Overall, the franchise, that's definitely.
That's definitely not true. Cody, so you put Jason Isaacs on the list. Does he stay or does he go?
I don't know why we can only have one villain on the top 5, but apparently that's just Lucas's viewpoint, you masshole.
Is that the guy wearing the Red Sox hat?
I support you in baseball, but you're a dumbass when it comes to Harry Potter. No, I'm just kidding. I like Malfoy, so I'm going to keep him because I think he's great in every time he shows up. So.
All right. I'm gonna go to me next. I definitely think he's one of the weaker ones out of this crop, so I'm gonna say. I know. I'm gonna say he's off. I'm gonna go to Robert next.
Yeah, unfortunately, of the list we have, I do have to agree with you. I love Isaacs in Chamber of Secrets. And I do love how his character does grow. And I'm glad he's down with top 7, but I don't think he's top 5.
Everybody can say no, but when you say no, it hurts the most. Thanks, Robert.
All right. Well, either way, Jason Isaacs. Sorry, buddy, you did not move on to top 5, but you got top 7. We salute you, sir. Now go do Star Trek Discovery. Zach, what would you say about Jason Isaacs?
I mean, being that I cannot remember Jason Isaacs' name for more than 15 minutes at a time, like, if you talk to me later tonight, I'm going to forget his name. And that shows something that he is not memorable for me. Also, he just has a boring name. Not like Imelda Staunton. Can't forget that.
He probably has the best use of the Killing Curse in Chamber of Secrets. All right.
He doesn't even say the full thing. He just...
Well, because Dobby blows his ass up before he finishes.
Oh, I have the results.
Okay.
I actually am right. I am right by 45 seconds.
There's
because Dolores Umbridge is on screen for 16 minutes, according to the website I'm founding. And I'm not 100% positive.
It's lucasschilbach.com.
It's 60 minutes to 15 minutes and 15 seconds, which actually seems kind of
plausible. I don't believe for a second that Jason Isaacs only has 15 minutes of screen time throughout this entire series.
I don't think I believe it.
I believe it. And also, like,
he just shows on screen, gives a Killing Curse to a child, and disappears. He does it once every movie, and that's it.
All right, regardless. Zach, you did not get a vote, so I'm going to let you decide what gets knocked off next.
Yeah, just because I think it's the most flawed of the 6. I enjoy it, but there, as I said, I think it's missing some of the warmth that the character needs. I'm going to say Michael Gambon.
How dare you suggest that Michael Gambon is not warm, sir?
Other things. Maybe as a person, he rises a little above 98.6. I don't know.
He's cold and British, and also not fat enough. But I'm gonna go. This is my nomination. I'm gonna say he stays. I think there's someone else I would rather kick off than him. So I say he stays. Gonna go to. I think I know Lucas's vote. Lucas,
kick him.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Do you want him off the list? You just want someone to do something Michael Gambon?
No. Let's be clear. I love Michael Gambon. Outside of the Harry Potter universe and outside of this list, I will watch a billion BBC shows where he plays any character. I watch him over and over again.
I bet you cheered when Uncle Pascuzo died in Paddington, didn't you?
Didn't
you?
That is not true. Paddington 2 is my favorite movie this year. How dare you call that crap?
Lucas, if they cast late in life Orson Welles can't get out of his chair Orson Welles, would you have been more of a fan?
Okay, so that's too much Michael Gambon to get off. Robert.
He stays.
And Cody.
Well, if he stays, who goes, Robert? That's interesting. Can I get a replay of who's on the list again?
Okay, so Alan Rickman, Maggie Smith, Imelda Staunton, Michael Gambon, Brendan Gleeson, and Robbie Coltrane.
I see the one. No, he stays.
Okay, Michael Gambon is locked in for top 5, and I'm gonna go next. Not that I don't like performance, I just think the other characters leave a far bigger impact than this person. I think Imelda Staunton is the easy one to take off the list. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Imelda Staunton, I say should not make it top 5. Top 7, sure. I don't think she should go all the way. Robert, Imelda Staunton, does she stay or does she go?
I think she stays. I think there's a different clear choice.
Okay. Gonna go to, if it's Maggie Smith, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. I'm gonna go to Cody.
I'm hoping he's not thinking that way, but I agree there's one clear choice, and it is not this one, so no.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Zach.
I say she goes.
And
despite
Lucas.
that beautiful name.
This is a wonderful situation in which I have to cast a vote that is different from the vote I cast initially. I voted against her making the list, I would vote her to stay on the list now.
What sense does that make?
No.
None of my choices are on this list. That's why.
Chance, your viewpoint on why you kicked this character off doesn't make sense for the character that you're leaving on. So I'll make it sense if you give it to me.
Also,
okay,
if we kept Dumbledore, we literally can't vote a character off this one.
All right, so Imelda Staunton is apparently locked in because logic. Going to Cody.
Brendan Gleeson. Sorry.
Okay.
You're one character, you're one scene of 4, and you're great, but the rest you get literally lost. And the best character you are is David Tennant is your puppet. You get puppeted by him. So I don't think he has any withstanding after 4, and 4's not that strong of a movie. So that's why I will have to say that Brendan Gleeson does.
Robert, I think that's where you were going, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. I love Brendan Gleeson, but
me too.
On my list now, and I think he's got to go.
I think Zach put him on. Zach?
Yeah. So please next week turn into Fireside Chit Chat, which is now a one-man fucking show. You ran off my will, Robert. You ran off my will. I was going to give you that $5 I have in my wallet.
Don't you be mean to him.
But really, fuck this. This show's ruined. Gleason forever. It doesn't even matter at the end. At the end, things he doesn't have much to do because that comes from the books. He didn't have much to do, but he pops on screen, and you don't want to watch anyone else. And you guys are dumbasses. Okay,
I'm gonna turn you into a ferret.
I think Cody deciding the lines means he changes.
You've made this really easy for me because I either have to vote to keep on a character who's in basically one movie, or be forced to vote off Snape, McGonagall, or Hagrid, who are like potentially the 3 most important characters in the entire story. This is a completely easy vote to get him off the list.
You could have voted off Stoughton.
Why did you not vote off Stoughton? I will never. Whatever. Either way, Brendan Gleeson's off the list. Brendan Gleeson's off the list. So are we at our top 5? Our top 5 is
also I'm vindictive at this point.
Alan Rickman, Maggie Smith, Imelda Staunton, Michael Gambon, and Robbie Coltrane. I mean, this is the first time I have 3 picks in the top 5.
Congratulations.
All right, so now we come to the ranking period. So what we're going to do is a spot on the list is going to be up for voting. We're all going to write down on whiteboards, paper, whatever, what actor deserves to go in that spot. So, gentlemen, we'll go 5, 4, 3, and then the 1. So if you all write down what you think should go in the number 5 spot. All right. I think we're ready. I'm gonna go first. I have Imelda Staunton. Let me go to Cody.
Imelda Staunton. Sorry, I was deciding, but yeah, Imelda Staunton.
Sorry, didn't know you weren't ready.
You're good. You're good.
All right, Robert.
I have Imelda Staunton, which is her name.
Oh, that's his Stoughton? My bad. Staunton.
Shut your mouth, Robert.
I have I wrote it wrong.
I know. I'm just messing with you, man.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. But was it a clean sweep, Lucas?
Nope. Gambon.
Oh wow. Okay. And Zach, what'd you have?
I'm gonna choose to save my vote.
Wow. All right then. So now we go to the number 4 spot on the list.
Remember when we predicted that this would last 30 minutes?
You're here.
Yeah, but then we have Cody taking Filch. Fucker.
Listen here.
Yeah, right.
Filch was not even close to being the worst pick. Let's be clear. Cody should feel good about that one.
Who was the worst pick then?
At least it's better than anything Caleb Coho has ever said on this show, so that works.
That's a very.
That's like saying getting kicked in the balls is better than getting your head chopped off.
I mean, it is.
Nelson's the best actor.
Chance, you should have an episode that is you, me, Lucas, and then Caleb and Ryan.
Oh God, why would I ever do that?
Me and Zach would just vote everything they say down.
What would the flow of consciousness even be for that one? Okay, looks like we're all ready.
Top 5 1930s foreign film.
Me?
Yeah, Cody.
Gambon.
Right. Zach.
Did you put your name in the fire?
Lucas.
I didn't even change what I wrote. I just left Gambon there.
Yeah, no, I also have Michael Gambon. Roberts?
That's not who I have.
Ooh, okay, so save yours.
Oh.
So Michael Gambon is
I
number
like
4.
leaving surprises. You can strategize too much if you show what their pick's gonna be.
All right, so now
That's
vote
true.
to the number 3 spot on the list.
This is the most indifferent that me and Robert have ever been on this show. There's a chink in the armor.
Now.
All right. I see.
This one's easy.
All right. I'm going to go to Robert first.
Smith.
Okay. We go to Cody.
Smith. Maggie Smith. We're back.
Lucas.
Coltrane.
Zach.
This is Bobby Coltrane giving a dragon a hug.
All right, so down to me. Do you have one of these two written down? Sorry, lady. Maggie Smith. Maggie Smith is a 3.
You people are terrible human beings.
You're a terrible person.
All right, now we go to
But
number
Lucas,
1.
I would like you a lot more if you were fatter.
I'll drink some liquid ice
Are
cream.
the number
for you.
1 now?
Yeah, number 1.
Man, no one saw this one coming before the night started. No one.
Yeah,
I just don't like any of you people anymore at this point.
Well, formalities, it's customs, whatever. So, all right, here we go. Let's just all reveal at the same time.
3, 2,
1. Alan Rickman.
Turn to page 394.
Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman's pronunciation of celebrity is my number 1.
Okay, so we have all right. So our top 5 performances in the Wizarding world. Number 5, Imelda Staunton. Number 4, Michael Gambon. Number 3, Maggie Smith. Number 2, Robbie Coltrane, and the number 1 best performance in the Wizarding world, Alan Rickman. Who saw that coming? I know, such shock. But that was it. What are your biggest takeaways? What are some of your favorite performances from the Wizarding world? Like, comment, share, subscribe to Full Metal Media. Join the Facebook page. I'm sorry, I'm a little flustered because I'm a little flustered. Luke, I don't have enough meat on my bones for Lucas to like me anymore. So, for me and my panel, all my crew from Military, I want to say thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.
Okay, let's go get some barbecue.
Clear?
We're definitely not. This is live.